Like Dell's World number 214 for August 4th, 2015. This is also my first entry into the dog days of podcasting for 2015. Welcome aboard. I'm going to be doing these daily, probably some shorter, some longer, sometimes music, sometimes no music, just the normal Mike Dell's World thing condensed into 30 daily podcasts, or 31, I don't know. I'm going to do this until September 4th. And this one might be a little longer because I got some stories, or a story anyway. As most of you know, I do several things, one of which is I work for a courier company part-time. And lately I've been doing a route on Sundays. It's a, pretty easy hospital lab route where, I run and pick up lab samples at several different hospitals around the northern part of the state. It's about a 350-mile ride, and start at 7 in the morning and go until, I don't know, I'm back probably about 3, something like that. And anyway, I took off last Sunday morning, a couple days ago, and everything was fine. They were predicting some possibility of thunderstorms and whatever, and I always seem to stay ahead of it. And I get all the way back home, or almost back home, probably 5 miles out, and the sky's looking pretty wicked out to the west. And I had one more stop to make at the airport to put some cargo on an airplane. So I went directly to the airport, and as I'm sitting in the airport waiting to put the cargo on, we had a hellacious thunderstorm. I don't know if it was just a thunderstorm or possible tornado, whatever, but they completely canceled every flight out of the airport and all that. And I get this panic call from my wife that trees were falling all over the place, and she almost got hit by a tree. She's driving down the road, and she gets home, and we had a big tree limb fall off and land on our Subaru and our Cadillac. It pretty much crushed the Subaru. I'll throw a picture into the show notes for this week over at MikeDell.com. And, it crushed the corner of it. It's not flat as a pancake. It's probably drivable, but I'm not going to drive it, and it's likely totaled. Because generally they don't fix roofs, and it's an older car, so we'll see. The insurance adjuster guy's supposed to be here today. But then there was power outages all over the place. So the courier company that I work for, their phone system was down. Of course, everybody's got cell phones, so I was able to talk with them, after the storm and get the flight rescheduled for, yesterday morning when everybody got their airplanes back in the air. And it took a lot of stuff between Subway stores. My wife runs a chain of Subway stores around here, and 2 of her stores were out of power. So we took all the food out of the coolers and off the line there and brought it to the one store that was open, which was mobbed because everybody apparently wants to have a Subway sub during a storm event. So they were just crazy busy. All the employees from the other 2 stores converged on the one that was open, or the one closest that was open. Of course, there's 10 of them around here, and most of them were out of power. Well, not most, but a bunch of them were out of power, but they all come back pretty quickly. This happened Sunday, and my wife this morning got a phone call that her one remaining store that was out is now back on, so we had to haul a bunch of food back over there so she could get that going. So hopefully that's up and running today, and everything will be back to normal. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to talk about on all these, but I will talk about something because something always happens. I'm on a 2-week off time with my quote-unquote day job. I also do graphic arts for a printing company, and summer is usually pretty slow in the printing world, so I decided to take a couple of weeks off and go run with a courier company and and all that. Plus, we just had a big announcement over at Blueberry, which is my third job. I work the tech support for Blueberry.com, a podcast hosting company, and now a web hosting company. We announced that you can have your all-in-one podcast site, WordPress, PowerPress, hosting for your media, hosting for your pictures and all that stuff. And of course, media statistics all in one over there at blueberry.com. And while I'm at it, if you want a free month of that, use my promo code HELPDESK, all one word, and that'll give you a free month at any level of media hosting and stats, and soon WordPress hosting. That's coming online here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It was announced at Podcast Movement in Dallas, Texas. And speaking of Podcast Movement, they just announced that Podcast Movement 2016 is going to be in Chicago. And I'm up here in northern Michigan on Lake Michigan, completely the other end of the lake. So it's still quite a hike for me, but a whole lot closer than Dallas. So I can drive there. So I'm probably going to go to Podcast Movement this next year. Just to check it out. Why not? Chicago is not too bad a place to go once in a while, so why not? So with that, I think I'll call this one a podcast and get it uploaded. Like I said, I'm going to be doing these daily. Could be, like I said, from my phone. I did get that process perfected with the last episode. If you are subscribed, I tried to figure out how to completely podcast from my iPhone without having to use a computer or anything else. So it should work. Hopefully all the metadata and stuff will get in there the right way, but yeah, if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This podcast is kind of my waste of time podcast. Not really a waste of time. I don't want to waste your time, but it's just what I do when I feel like doing it. I decided to participate with the Dog Days of Podcasting over at dogdaysofpodcasting.com, I believe. Anyway, go check that out. I'll have the correct link in the show notes at mikedell.com. And of course, those of you that are listening because of the Dog Days, a little bit about me. I've been podcasting for 10 years. This show started in April of 2005, and it's been on and off and on and off and on and off ever since. And it's even changed names once, so it started out as the Benzoid Report and switched to Mike Dell's World somewhere around episode, I don't know, 120 maybe? Something like that. I don't know. I really should go back and try to figure out the history a little better. I've done various other podcasts. My main podcast these days is podcasthelpdesk.com. It's where I answer questions about podcasting, talk about podcasting, and every once in a while interview other experts in podcasting to talk about podcasting. That way I don't have to talk about it so much in this show. And I also do a Geek of the North over at geekofthenorth.com. It's kind of the alternative tech podcast. I don't generally look at phones and tablets and computers and that kind of thing. I look at some of the oddball stuff like broadcasting technology and ham radio technology, aviation technology. Sometimes I even do farming technology. I even had a story one time about garbage truck technology. So if you want to hear some alternative technology, go check out Geek of the North. That is relaunching. It's been on hiatus for a while. I did put out episode 49 of that announcing the relaunch. But all the prior episodes, or most of them, are online and interesting still. It's sometimes interesting for me to even go back and listen. But I'm relaunching that one in earnest, coming up with episode 50. That'll probably happen in the next couple of weeks while I'm off work from my day job. So look for that. And that'll do it for this time. Catch me tomorrow.